Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in London, England. So put away your mobile phones, put away your fish and chips, your bangers and mash, your rapidly increasing knife crime. It's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We kick things off with everybody's favourite big dog. No, it's not Clifford, it's Roman Reigns, and he's here with some unfinished business from Raw, and he doesn't want to wait until Money in the Bank. He wants to address these issues right now. Roman brings out the first wild card of the night. He's over from Monday Night Raw. It's The Miz. The Miz hypes the steel cage match on Sunday night. He does a bit of Oasis singing. That's Manchester, mate. It was pretty awkward. It didn't go down especially well. Then he's interrupted by Shane McMahon and Elias. Shane almost immediately bans The Miz from the arena tonight. Boo! And then Elias grabs the mic and basically says, Roman, you shouldn't underestimate me, and I'm going to win Money in the Bank. And that was pretty much it from Elias. Shane then brings out the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Daniel Bryan and Rowan. They all run down. They beat down the baby faces. It's 4-on-2. So who's there to make the save? It's Jimmy Wildcard and Jay Wildcard. The Usos come out and even the odds. The baby faces end up cleaning house, of course, and then there's a stare down. This was all very average. It gets a C. WWE here are essentially hyping 3 matches at once. First off, you've got The Miz versus Shane McMahon in the steel cage. Then you've got Roman Reigns versus Elias. And then the newly announced Usos taking on Daniel Bryan and Rowan in a non-title match. And it all just felt a bit much. It felt a bit contrived, especially when Daniel Bryan and Rowan run out and then the Usos as well. It was fine. As I say, it gets a C. This is another example, essentially, of WWE having a big long promo at the beginning with an authority figure, and then it leads to a tag match later in the card. And although this was a bit more interesting, it's a handicap match, it's still a tag match, player-player. Next up, it's a fatal 4-way match. This one features all 4 men from the SmackDown side of things in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You've got Randy Orton, you've got Andrade, Finn, and Ali. It was a cool match here, I liked it. At one point, Andrade gets a ladder out and ends up eating a dive over the top from Ali while he's holding the ladder. That was really, really cool. Of course, ladders are legal in a fatal 4-way match. And it was a nice tease, I guess, for Sunday. It got you hyped because you know ladders are going to be involved. We saw a few minor ladder spots last night, as well as the introduction of what a ladder looks like, in case you didn't know. Now, it goes without saying that Andrade, Ali, and Finn are the 3 men doing the majority of the legwork in this match, but Randy Orton did some sweet rest holds and an especially sweet RKO following a 450 attempt by Ali. However, it was Andrade who picked up the win following a hammerlock DDT to Finn Bálor, the Intercontinental Champion. This served its purpose effectively. It gets a B+. Consider me hyped for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And I don't just get hyped, I stay hyped for bloody ages. And also, Andrade being the man to pick up the win here is especially exciting because even if he doesn't win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which he bloody well should, consider him first in line for an IC title shot against Finn Bálor. He pinned Finn there, so everything's coming up Andrade. Oh, and then at the end of the match, Andrade climbs the ladder, does a bit of posing, and then outruns the 4th already wildcard of the night, Ricochet, gets him off the ladder, unhooks the briefcase, and walks up the ramp with it. We don't need these constant visual reminders. We know how a ladder works. We know how a carabiner works. We don't waste your wild cards on something like this. You've only got 3 or 4 or... I'm still not over the wildcard thing, sorry. Out next is Charlotte Flair. She says that Money in the Bank will end with her becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion. Woo! And then a video package starts to play detailing the storied rivalry of this generation's Shawn and Brett, Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Props to the WWE production staff for creating another fantastic VT here. It was so concise, it told the entire story of the feud in mere minutes in such an effective way. They never ever get the respect that they deserve, but you have my respect, WWE video monkeys. And that's pretty much it. It's difficult to grade this because Charlotte said about 5 words with the video package doing all of the work for her, but I'm going to give it a B because it was just so well produced. Lacey Evans cut a quick promo afterwards. That was good too. This will hopefully be the last time for quite a while that we see Charlotte versus Becky, because we've seen it many, many times. But I would also argue that it's a match that never fails to impress. I understand why they put those two together so often. This worked for me. Woo! We then get a quick Aleister Black promo. He's making very good use of the thesaurus that he got for Christmas. And then it is time for that handicap match set up earlier in the night. It's Shane, Elias, Daniel Bryan, Rowan taking on Team Anawahi. What a smarky dickhead thing to say. Roman and the Usos. By the way, Aleister, I also got a thesaurus for Christmas. But when I opened it, all of the pages were blank. I have no words to describe how angry I am. So of course, no Miz in this one. He was banned earlier in the night from the arena by Shane McMahon. It's all right, me old mucker. Head down to Buckingham Palace and have a spot of tea with the Queen. What am I doing? That was absolutely awful. This was a decent match, and at least it didn't end with Roman Reigns overcoming the odds yet again. I've ruined the ending there already. Sorry. As for the match, the heels cut the ring in half. They beat down on Jey Uso. You know how tag matches work, especially handicap tag matches. Roman Reigns gets the hot tag. He comes in, clears house, but is ultimately let down by Jey Uso once again, who eats a coast-to-coast from Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon picking up the win for Team Dick. And then as Shane starts celebrating, awesome! He didn't go anywhere. The Miz runs out with a steel chair, goes for all the heels. Shane runs away. Those two stare down to close this segment. And I quite like this one. It's a B+ from me. This match effectively built up Shane versus Miz. This match effectively built up Roman versus Elias, a match that I'm not especially excited for, but this did its job. I would say it didn't effectively build up the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan, but that's on the pre-show. Who cares? Sorry, every cruiserweight champion ever. Next up, it's Paige's new team, Kairi Sane and Asuka, with their god-awful mashup theme. Somebody fix that soon. That's a priority. But also, they have a brand new name. Introducing the Kabuki Warriors. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may well be, but let me know in the comments, but Kabuki is a form of performance with exclusively male performers. And Kairi Sane and... It doesn't matter. It's not a big... I think it sounds cool. Kabuki Warriors. That's awesome, right? Badass, yeah? It's better than the Kabuki experience, alright? Their opponents are, of course, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, with the Iconics being bloody brilliant on commentary as always. As for the match, once again, pretty standard tag affair. Asuka and Kairi Sane in control for the most part. The heels make a brief comeback, but then Asuka tags in and wins with a devastating roll-up. Obviously, this is the right team winning. No complaints there, though I would rather have seen this match after Money in the Bank, because Mandy Rose is in the Money in the Bank match, and this didn't really build to that at all. However, why couldn't you have Asuka win with the Asuka lock, or Kairi win with the elbow, or literally anything other than a roll-up? This is a newly formed team. They should be looking super dominant, and a roll-up certainly isn't the way to do that. The match was fine. It was serviceable. It gets a C+. The right team won, but they didn't win it in the way that I wanted them to win it. I'm a whingy old bastard. Jesus Christ. Backstage now with Kayla Braxton. She is interviewing Lars Sullivan. She asks him to comment on all of the destruction, and then Lars doesn't say a word. Probably a good thing at the moment, and then Kayla runs away. Moving on. Main event time, and it is the Kevin Owens Show. This week's host is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens starts backstage talking to the camera, but then Kofi interrupts him by coming to the ring with his music, and he sits down, and Kevin's all pissed off. And to be honest, Kevin, mate, you should have been in the ring for your own pissing segment. Kofi hypes the match on Sunday, introduces Kevin, but he's nowhere to be seen. Instead, he pops up on the video screen again, and he says that the only reason that Kofi is the WWE champion is because of the New Day, and he no longer has the New Day. He's all on his own. Then a video package starts to play. So Kevin Owens himself is narrating this video package, which isn't often done. It was quite unique, and I liked it a lot. It made it feel really special. It details his path of destruction on the main roster, from his call-up from NXT and beating down John Cena in his debut match on Raw, to capturing the Universal title, to absolutely decimating one Chris Jericho. That's right, All Elite wrestling star Chris Jericho. And then it goes all the way forward to beating down Xavier and taking him out of action and leaving Kofi Kingston very much on his own. Kevin says that all he now has to do is claim what is rightfully his, the WWE title, and Kofi in the ring is rattled. He throws out the chairs, he throws out the pancakes and says, "Kevin, get out here, you bastard." Owens answers Kofi's call, he comes out, and then he does he basically steals Lacey Evans' bit. He walks back and forth, and then Kofi loses it, he goes, and they start brawling. But then, the last wild card of the night, Sami Zayn comes out, and they double team Kofi Kingston. Xavier comes out, tries to make the save, but it doesn't last for long as the pair beat down Kofi Kingston. Owens then gets Kofi in the ring, sets him down in the corner, does some really brilliant, intense trash talking, goes for the cannonball, but misses. Kofi and Sami then battle it out, with Kofi coming out on top. Kevin Owens, meanwhile, has made a hasty retreat up the ramp. Those two stare down to close this episode of SmackDown, and I thought this was brilliant. This segment made Money in the Bank, for me, 10 times more interesting, just because of Sami Zayn's appearance and the possible ramifications of him doing something on Sunday night. Sami is, of course, in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match after beating Braun Strowman on this week's episode of Raw. I'm excited for that anyway. I'm really happy Sami's in there. But what if Sami Zayn gets involved in the WWE title picture? What if, earlier in the night, Kevin Owens helps Sami Zayn win the briefcase and it all comes back to bite him in the arse later in the show? Sami could cash in on Kofi, making it a triple threat, or maybe Kevin Owens beats Kofi and then Sami cashes in on his best friend Kevin Owens. The possibilities are endless. Really excited for Money in the Bank, all thanks to this segment. Just because of those ramifications, this gets an A from me. On top of that, everybody played their role to perfection. This was a perfect ending to a largely average to good episode of SmackDown. The overall grade for this week's SmackDown is a B. We had 2 decent matches in the Fatal 4-Way and the Handicap match, but the highlight for me was absolutely this closing segment. But you already knew that. So that is it from me for now. I'm literally about to head to the airport to sun myself for a week in Turkey. What kind of key opens no doors? A turkey! Ha 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 ha! Get it? It's crap. I don't care. I'm gonna go and drink mojitos by the pool. Love you. Bye! Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.